Right, it's Venom. What? That'll catch on eventually. I don't know. I don't know. I'm Venom Jamillion, and, should the world and New York City embrace Spider-Man? Should they in the MCU? Think about it right now. I want to put everything in a perspective, and then I'll give you my answer, but I kind of want to guide you to my answer. Think about what's been going on in the MCU, and the world in the MCU. We've had a number of heroes uprise, starting with Iron Man as the catalyst, which created a lot of other issues. We're talking about other criminals, villains even popping up, threatening cities and the world. Countries to destroy the world. A big robot thing came to destroy the world, and it was created by a hero, by Tony Stark, Iron Man, the invincible Iron Man, the person that's going to save us all. These heroes have been creating issues, and all of these heroes have been, to a degree, held accountable for this, especially in the Civil War film. They've been held accountable for these things, these atrocities. Is that a word? I think atrocities that they've been doing, even though whether or not they are to be blamed is really up for debate. But they've been held accountable by way of them not having secret identities. Now think about all of that happening in this world. And then another hero pops up who has a secret identity. Now, we have Daredevil. Daredevil is around, but I think that Daredevil won't be as widely broadcast as Spider-Man. I'm talking about from a characterial. Is that a word? I'm making up words. I'm talking about from the character perspective. I think that if I was in control, I would mention Daredevil in regards to this whole scheme, what I'm going to tell you in a moment. But I don't think he would be the main focus. Or maybe he could. I don't know. Let me tell you what my answer to this question is. No, the world should not embrace Spider-Man. And all the Spider-Man films, everybody's like, yeah, Spider-Man, whoa, yeah. No, okay? No, it should not be like that at all. We should have the Daily Bugle take the front stand, the biggest stand of this Spider guy is another hero that has popped up with the uprise of these heroes. Why should we allow them to be here? With the uprise of these heroes, everything that has followed has been nothing but death and destruction. I can imagine right now, and this is my interpretation, or this is how I would interpret. What is this? Oh, this is my PlayStation. It's on the floor. Okay. How I would do this, my modern interpretation of the Daily Bugle would be, and I'll pause right here. There's a comment left on my past video, which was talking about Tony Stark in the Spider-Man movie, and this comment was left by Geekly John. He said, "What if the Bugle is a BuzzFeed-like company?" He also said, mostly because people usually don't read newspapers. If it is a website or a news channel on YouTube, Peter could take pictures for them still, and the articles would be the same as the ones in the past movies and comics. Pause that right there. And my brief thoughts on that idea is, I think that's really interesting, but I don't think the Daily Bugle should take the sense of the stand of a non-reliable journal. You know what I'm saying? A non-reliable, I want the Daily Bugle should be a highly regarded piece of news, a highly regarded news format, something in line with the New York Post, something in line with that. This is a big paper, a big newspaper, a big organization. And sure, people don't really read newspapers, and this is when I also think that it should be kind of like a news station, similar to what they were doing in the Amazing Spider-Man franchise. And I think they did this in the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon. I think so. But yeah, the Daily Bugle should be a news station, something similar to CNN, or maybe not even CNN. It could be something like, your local 7 News, your local 4 News, when, it's a programming, and then at a certain time, the Daily Bugle comes on, or, Channel 4 comes on in real life. It's something like that. It should be like that. It should be a news station and they have a newspaper, or it could be its own channel, whatever. I just feel like it should be something more than just a newspaper, but it should be a newspaper, and it should be online, but not like BuzzFeed, because this is something that is highly regarded. This is something that is considered to be professional and reliable and taken seriously, a little bit more seriously than, say, for instance, BuzzFeed is taken. So now I'm going to go back to where I paused at before. The Daily Bugle should be the corporation, should be the news organization that is headlining this. These heroes suck. These heroes are a problem. We don't need these heroes. This spider guy, the issue is not that these heroes are saving people. The issue is that these heroes do not understand the responsibility that they are assuming when they try to become something outside of the law. When they try to push forward this idea that really goes against what criminals think. And these criminals, they see this challenge and they want to rise up to this challenge. The Daily Bugle should really perpetuate this idea, this commentary on these heroes. Sure, they think they're here to do good, but if they were here to do good, then they should honestly stop, because all they do is create more issues. And now you have a Spider-Man and a Daredevil and an uprising of these heroes now who don't have a sense of accountability, because when it comes to these other heroes, the Avengers, we at least knew their names. Now you have a Spider-Man and a Daredevil and all these other heroes with masks on. We can't even give them a sense of accountability, because once they go home, that idea, that persona, that identity of Spider-Man, of Daredevil, of whomever is no longer there. We can't charge Spider-Man with anything. Why? Because Spider-Man is not who he really is. He wears a mask. He's not here to help. He's here to hide. He's here to perpetuate an idea of him being a hero and then hide. That's what the Daily Bugle's stance should be. Their stance should really be that this Spider-Man will do nothing but create more issues for the city of New York and possibly the world, with the creation of more criminals, mentally ill criminals that want to step up try to step up and level the playing field to match this Spider guy, to take him out. That way they can continue doing what they're doing. That's what the idea, what the Daily Bugle should perpetuate, and what the world should even feel, especially after the Civil War. Captain America, who is considered to be a hero, he publicly rejected the Sokovia Accords, thus becoming a fugitive, thus involving his other hero counterparts to go against those who were with the Sokovia Accord, thus injuring the lieutenant, I don't even know, but the military guy known as War Machine, thus creating more of a problem. Captain America is basically protecting this person who, may I add, is the reason for the UN bombing. Side note, remember in the movie, it was never really addressed whether or not the public knew that Bucky did not have anything to do with the UN bombing. But so I'm going to just go with the idea, if they did know, they don't know that he didn't have anything to do with it and that he was blamed. The public may know because Zemo is now captured, but it's up in the air. So regardless of if they know or not, still Bucky was an assassin. He was a killer, and they don't, and the world doesn't know that Bucky is, being housed in Wakanda, and that he was brainwashed. They just think of him as a killer. So let's go back to it. Captain America helped and aided a killer, an assassin, the Winter Soldier. This is supposed to be our hero. And then the other counterparts, the other heroes that were on Captain America's side, these fugitives, these criminals who went blatantly against the law, putting everyone in danger, not even having a care in the world or a recollection, a minute thought about someone that isn't them. They didn't think of the normal average Joe that walks down the street, that has to deal with aliens coming out of the sky to try to defeat Iron Man or Thor. You know, they didn't even think about that. They didn't think about them. Why would they? So they go to jail. You break the law, you go to jail. And Captain America breaks them out. These are the people that we want to be our heroes? These are the people that we want to be put onto this pedestal of, yes, thank you for saving us. Even though Uncle Jeff is dead and Auntie Sally is paralyzed because of the Hulk jumping and throwing as something. Where's the Hulk? These are the people that we want to be protecting us, our protectors, protect and serve. Wow, you don't have any training. You're not a government official. You're a person that thinks you're better than everybody. You put on a costume and then you go out and do whatever the hell you want. That's not right. That's not cool. And that's why the Daily Bugle, that's why New York, especially New York, because they've went through so much and they're going to go through even more. They should not like the idea of Spider-Man. They should not like the idea of Spider-Man. People should not like Spider-Man. That should be the conflict. That should be the world's point of view on the heroes, on Spider-Man specifically. New York and the Daily Bugle should not like Spider-Man. And that can be also, that can go in turn with the conflict of Peter Parker, like, well, I'm just trying to do the right thing and stuff, But there's the motivation and the reason as to why the Daily Bugle and J. Jonah Jameson would not like Spider-Man. It could be something as personal as, J. Jonah Jameson's family was killed or his son was killed or something. Or his son was in space when the wormhole was opened and something happened and he almost lost his son. Or, I don't know. It could be personal like that, or it doesn't necessarily have to be personal. It doesn't. It doesn't necessarily have to be personal. Think about it in a realistic point of view. If there was, if there were a group of people that were kept creating conflicts and problems in the world, would you? I mean, no matter what they stood for, whether or not they thought of themselves as good, which a lot of, people do. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to be bad today. They do things because of their own motivations, because of their own perceptions and their own, thoughts. And they don't think that what they're doing is bad or that they're necessarily a bad person. They're just doing what they feel. And the Daily Bugle should also understand that. But would you connect with these heroes in this real world, scenario? If these heroes existed today and were the reasons for thousands upon thousands of deaths and people's families being just separated and people being hurt, would you be behind the heroes? I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't, because people are dying and they do not care. This is without knowing their individual stories. All I would know is that you've had a person, going to a racetrack and whipping stuff with electricity and killing people, and then you had robots taking over and stuff, and then you had this government, this organization crumble, and turns out this organization was bad. It's just so much. I wouldn't want these heroes here. I feel like they create more issues than they do solving them. And then with Spider-Man, thinking about this is just Venom talking. This isn't, but then the purpose of this would be to kind of prove the Daily Bugle right, and also have this conflict with the viewer and with everyone, like, dang, what if, would the world be better without these heroes? Would the world be better without Spider-Man? Because by the end of the series, I'm talking about the franchise, with the villains, the various villains that would come up, would the world be better with, if Spider-Man wasn't there, would there be, this is just for example, if Venom was to pop up, would there be a Venom? Would there be a goblin? Would there be so much death and destruction? So many other lives potentially put at stake? Would they even be there if it wasn't for Spider-Man? And I think J. Jonah Jameson should really press out the idea that Spider-Man, his being here, regardless of whether or not he thinks he's a hero or not, is only going to create problems, because there are going to be other criminals that are going to want to step up to try to destroy him or try to fight him, because he is ultimately trying to thwart what they're doing. So they want to thwart what he's doing. That way they can continue doing what they're doing. And J. Jonah Jameson's argument should be that if he wants to help us, then he needs to just stop before someone else gets hurt, before someone else rises, as things have been doing throughout, as history has shown us, but the past 10 years. That's what J. Jonah Jameson's argument should be. Past 10 years, we've had this uprising of heroes. And what came with the heroes? The villains. Every hero has a villain. That should really be the conversation that we have, that J. Jonah Jameson has. That would be really interesting. That would, I think, give the Daily Bugle a sense of levity, I guess a sense of realism. They would have an actual reason to not like Spider-Man, to not like the heroes in general. I honestly think that would be a very interesting way to take the MCU and to take the entire world's perspective on these heroes. It'd be interesting. And sure, you'd have your people that still stand by the heroes, still accept, as you would in real life. You would still have those people that, I stand by Spider-Man. I stand by the Avengers because they've helped us. I stand by them. But you would have the other people like, man, before them, we didn't deal with any of this stuff. They need to go. And now you got a person, and at least the people, when they were doing stuff back then, we knew who they were. Now we don't even know who these people are. Spider-Man, he wears a mask. Who is this? Daredevil, he wears a mask. Who is this? How can we hold them accountable for when they mess up? We can't. Isn't it interesting? I think it's pretty interesting. So, what do you guys think? I want to have a conversation in the comment section below. This is a pretty long-winded video, but I really want to press the idea out. Again, now these videos that I'm talking, which I'm talking about ideas and things in the film, I don't want you to think that the whole movie would be about this. The whole movie would be about Tony Stark being in Spider-Man. The whole movie would be about the world or New York or Daily Bugle not liking Spider-Man. I am really trying to emphasize and convey this idea in a way that it is understandable. That's what this is about. This video is about. It's not about the movie being about this. I'm not talking about the villains. I haven't even mentioned a villain. I have mentioned villains, but I'm not talking about them. So I just want to make sure you guys understand that. But yeah. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with me? Do you disagree? Let's have a conversation in the comment section below. If this is something that interests you and you think will interest your other friends, send it to them. Say, hey, check this out. Check this out. All of my social media stuff is down there. I'm active. I'm active on my Facebook. I'm active on my Twitter. Instagram, give me some time. Yeah. I want to thank you all for watching. I'm Venom Tune saying I hope you liked the video. If you did, like and subscribe if you're new. Check out my past video, Tony Stark in Homecoming. Why is Tony Stark in Spider-Man Homecoming? And I'm going to kind of maybe make another video kind of replying to some comments talking about that video. Yeah, I'll be in that conversation, in that comment section down there. I'll be in it. Hopefully you are too. As always, thank you for watching. Venom, like, subscribe, share. Peace out. Have a good one. Peace. Move that. Peace.